Says I'm live. What's up, everybody? I am dealing with a thunderstorm and a really loud dog during the storm, so I apologize in advance. I think the thunderstorm might be making its way out. We shall see. Don't forget to hit your thumbs up on your way in and say hi. I know you're here. It says I got people here, but I don't know who they are yet. Grabbing my guitar stuff real quick. Don't forget to say hello. Get your thumbs up in. There's Deanna. That's my girl right there. I'm on a different laptop than I normally am, so I think it's probably less quality in both camera and sound. And I can even see it's kind of like slower. What is that, Broussard? 𝙒𝙖𝙔𝙎? Deborah Gardner, hello, hello. Are you not overworked yet? Or are you still overworked? We are, let's see, our garden's going surprisingly well for the late start we got due to losing a lot of plants twice. Which sucked. I had to replant several things twice. And then we're actually having a thunderstorm right now, which I think it's calming down. I was worried like 10 minutes ago, Colt was just going bonkers. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome during the live. But I think it's calming down. Everett Gardner says, I was in the attic that was 140 degrees with a mask on. Ugh. Was this a work-related thing or a just home improvement type thing? Not expecting a big crowd because I didn't have the ability to advertise ahead of time. I've been overworked, but it's like doing work stuff. I have to launch 2 big projects in the next week. I wanted to launch them both this week, but today's my Friday. I still plan to work tomorrow, but it's I'm stressed a little bit trying to get them done. So I haven't really been at many lives, if any. I was at Garden for Cheap a little bit ago. I'll be at the Broussards later because I can just have them on here while I'm trying to work on a couple things. And then I think people are starting to open back up businesses, so I'm getting a little bit more work, like not a new project necessarily, but like I'm definitely getting things to do. Rebecca kind of said hello. Bonjour, right? Bonjour. Court may bark. I apologize. We're having a thunderstorm, but I think it's leaving. So yeah, I had to go out, and when I got home, I lucked out because it was raining. The chickens are already up, the meat chickens, so I locked them up. We're actually butchering on Tuesday for those, so I'm excited about that. One, it's less maintenance or chickens to maintain, less feed to buy. But 2, we've lost one recently, we think, to an animal. And it was only because sometimes Donald leaves him out. So, and he doesn't get home until midnight. So that in between time where we're both at the office and it's still dark out, I feel like something knows to go get them. You're having a thunderstorm there too, yeah. I can market you the butchering. I can market you the whole thing. I probably will do some recording of it. Maybe I'll use Donald's phone to record, and then I can use mine to mark out. We butcher about twice a year for chickens, and then maybe twice a year for rabbits. And it's usually between like 20 and 30 each time, depending. This year, we'll see if we get another round of chickens, because I still got chickens left over from August when we butchered last. What is up, Miss G, Naked Gardeners? I love their channel, by the way. They crack me up. They are sweet and sassy and knowledgeable, and I just love them. And Tim from Rich Life. Hey, did you get that tattoo finished? I haven't been around because I was talking earlier. I've got 2 big projects I'm trying to launch this week, so I haven't been to like lives or things that I should have been at. So I've missed it, and I have a lot of catch up to do, and I may not get to catch up. JNC's Oregon Homestead. Hello, hello. Yeah, we won't have rabbits to butcher probably until the fall of this year. But we'll be butchering chickens Tuesday. And then if I can get some more before the end of the year, I will. But if not, I'm not that worried about it. Yeah, Ridge Life did a live last week around the same time of a tattoo he was getting to honor the military, which I thought was cool. I have a tattoo that kind of honors the military. You can see it, sort of. It was my first husband was in the Navy. Donald was in the Army. I tell you what, being a Navy wife, way different, I think. But I appreciated every moment of it. Big Bear! This is Jason and Robin. Doesn't matter though, because I love you both a lot. So, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Big Bear and Broussards are doing a weight loss challenge that I haven't done my initial video for, but Donald and I are very much interested in participating. So if you are interested in losing your weight or your Franklins and Estes, which is what Donald and I have named our guts. His is Franklin, mine is Esther. If you're interested in it, getting rid of those, maybe you should join. There's a group for it and everything. So check out Broussards and Big Bear on that. Unpaved Explorer. Hello, Papa Z. You have normal poop again. That's important. Broussards, you're not a moderator. I'm going to make you one, even though you and I tend to have stuff around the same time, because there are moments where we could moderate for each other. So I'm going to add you right now. I'm on my secondary laptop, so it's going to be a little funky. Maybe a little slow, maybe a little grainy. There we go. So if you need to share, I think you can. Rebecca Nichols, hello. Oh, yes, I heard you're in the hospital. How are you doing? I apologize for my dog. Court. Mama Z, what's up? Could you not bark? Come up here and lay down. Come up here and visit with the people. Come on. Not on me though. Okay. No, not on my sandwich. What? Stop. So what did Donald and I have been up to the last week? We are still not done planting all the potatoes. It's either he has a huge allergy flare up where he's just like dripping snot and grossness, or it's extremely hot, so we're trying to focus on things that we had to get done at that, like taking care of the animals and extra water, or we got some more planted. We started planting our purple ones. They're called blue Anorandac potatoes. They're really cool looking. So I planted a bunch of those. We still probably have about 15 pounds to plant. So I'm thinking tomorrow, because it's our day off, we're going to try to finish the rest. We also have to get another truckload of mulch. Jason says they're still planting also at Big Bear. Yeah, I still have surprisingly, despite losing our plants twice, the ones we had planted now are doing really well. And then losing some, I would say having some of our tomato plants munched on by a rabbit. They're coming back nicely. I was worried they were going to be topped. When you top a tomato plant, a lot of times if it's like, what is it, is the determinate varieties? Or maybe it's indeterminate varieties where it just stops growing. I was worried about that, but so far so good. I'm going to do another garden tour video. I was hoping to do it next week, but again, I'm on a secondary laptop because our old one, or my good one, is in the shop for about another week. They're ordering a fan from China. So I don't know that I can do video editing on this laptop, but I'll try. 𝙒𝘼𝙔𝙎, thank you for stopping by. Natural NC is about to do round 2 on some things and round 3 on some others. Yeah, I need to start my round 2. I do have my round 2 of tomatoes. Pretty good. They're like that tall-ish. Saving peas for seed. That would be awesome because we planted peas this year and I have never saved. Well, we don't grow that many peas, but I think that'll be useful for us. Sorry, I might have a storm coming their way. Do you hear a court back there outside? I left the door open on the deck, so when it thunders, he's not in here barking. He sometimes goes out there and barks. Oh, that's right. You did say you had COVID or something, didn't you? Or that you were thinking you might be having it or something? Dee, what are you planning for round 2, by the way? I know we got to plant our sweet potatoes. That's happening. If we can get all the potatoes in, we'll get the sweet potatoes. And I'm more worried about the potatoes because the eyes, some of them are like that long. The sweet potatoes like really a lot of heat. So I think they'll be all right for another week or so. What's up, Sean? Salmon leaders. Now you might have to explain that one. Is that an Alaskan thing? Because I don't know what that means. Sounds good though. I tell you what, salmon's my favorite fish. You were tested 5 times, no more COVID tests. Oh wow, that's kind of scary. Oh, he's fishing. Oh. You know, I miss fishing. I miss having a pond. I grew up with one. It was always bass and catfish in Maryland, but we don't have one here. Well, I say that. There is one back in the woods that's pretty big. But I don't know who owns it. I don't really care. Maybe I have to go back there. I think it's just like a big commercial property. But there's also, we have baby bear sightings this week with the neighbor out back. So I'm like hesitant to walk back there right now. Because I don't know where the mama's at. And our neighbor, that's the neighbor behind us. Our neighbor up the road, the bear tore up all of her bird feeders and shit in her yard. Pooped in her yard. So I'm not sure what to do about bears except just make lots of noise. But I really don't want to be out there and make a mama bear angry. So CJM Farms, hello. Gail's Garden, Herbs and More, hello. Are we all staying safe? We're pretty safe. No violence and stuff out our way. There's some up in Harrisburg, which is about 45 minutes north of us. That's the capital in PA. We've had the small protests here in town. Very peaceful. Next town over, very peaceful. So we're pretty good here. There hasn't been much of an issue here. Now, if they start expanding, we'll see how things go. One thing I like about having nothing of value, I don't have to worry about it getting stolen. I'm like, go ahead and steal that chair. That chair is 20 years old. I don't care. Go ahead and steal my TV. It's like 7 years old, and it was like $400 at Walmart. So whatever. I have insurance. Literally nothing of value. You have a protest going on this weekend? Like near you? Or like in a town near you? Worst thing you can do is go after the babies. Yeah, I don't want to mess with any baby bears. Northeast Georgia. Okay. Oh, wow. Now, from conversation with you, Big Bear, I know you've had neighbors that are of the unsavory variety. So are you guys going to be concerned about those? Is there a potential issue there, or? 10 miles from your homestead. I had a cool connection recently. A friend of mine does PR. She's a black woman friend of mine that's just brilliant with making connections with people. Like, she's a big bridge builder between relationships between companies and businesses. And she has a friend who has been published in Harvard that runs an organization called Black Votes Matter or something like that. And they were really impressed, or she was really impressed with a graphic I created about no more brutality and blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not going to get political on my channel. Like, y'all have your opinions. It's great. I'm not going to express any opinions on here about what's going on. I do that on Twitter plenty, trust me. But I thought it was cool that she was making a connection to her with me to support this graphic to get rid of brutality and stuff. And so I might have a connection with someone that's been published in Harvard. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, Big Bear's logo is pretty swank. I've always been impressed with their logo. If you ever need to know anything about predator control, then Big Bear Homestead is the channel that you need to subscribe to for sure. Now, if I ever have a bear problem, I'm going to go to Big Bear. So far, they haven't touched anything here. Our biggest issue has just been raccoons and foxes, and mostly raccoons, and usually just killing our chickens. We did have a fox that we trapped at one point, but the trap wasn't set well in the ground, so we have it on trail cam. I don't know if I put it on this YouTube. It might have been on my personal YouTube, where it just took the trap with them. I've never seen it since. So, I don't know. Raccoons we usually set like a cage trap, live trap, with like tuna fish or sardines, and we catch them pretty easy. Yeah, Big Bear is the oldest homestead channel on YouTube. You guys have been at this for at least 10 years, right? I think, if I remember right. What is the best way to deter owls from killing our chickens? Lock them up at night? I actually have a video on YouTube, and maybe I'll add it to my channel. It's like 15 years old, but we had caught a great horned owl on our last farm. And I took video of him and some photos and stuff, and he was pretty impressive. But it was right at dusk that he came in and got caught in our cage. So that's how we caught him. But beavers are good to eat. That's interesting. I've never had beaver. I've heard groundhog's gamey. Has anybody here eaten groundhog? That beaver said, well, watch me. Hey, J-Love. You want to try motion lights and another guard goose? Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a guard goose again. We had one named Lucy Goosey, but she hung herself by accident. So we have to get another. And she was a little bit bossy. But we didn't have her as a gosling. She was a little more mature than that. I think it was too mature, so she was not used to the chickens as much. Oh, Big Bear has a video on predator proofing. There you go. Oh, and there's Donald. He's at work. Rustic Traditions Homestead, hello. Who gave Donald a wrench? Ugh. I should be nice to him though. He brought me chocolate last night when he came from work. Yeah, you should do Predator Patrol videos, Jason. That would be fun. There's a guy that I've watched occasionally on YouTube. I'm not a big fan because his entire channel is bait, clickbait. Like everything is clickbait, and it gets me. And then I watch it and I'm like, well, here's 20 minutes of you talking about stuff, or here's 20 minutes of you walking through the woods. And then we get to something that's semi-interesting, but it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. But he does a lot of patrols on his property because he gets a lot of trespassers. And apparently they plant like money on his property. I think they think for like drug deals. So possibly the transfer drugs and stuff. So he catches them all the time. And it's weird. I've never seen, I want to say he's in Michigan or something. It's a weird channel. But I like watching that stuff. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if you mean me or Big Bear, since he's way more south than I am, CJM, but bugs here are pretty good. We don't have a major issue with them. We have a lot of humidity, but it's not like swampy. We do have a stream out back, but it's continually running. We do have some rain barrels, but all but one have netting over it, so they can't lay their eggs in the water. So we try to keep it under control. And then I'm thinking about making some bat houses. We have bats. I know we have bats around. I see them all the time at dusk, but I'd like to get some houses for them. Ooh, wild hogs. Reap What You Sow actually did a really good, I don't know if it was one video or a couple videos about some of the hogs they have over there in like Arkansas, or they're not in Arkansas, they're in Louisiana, but like that general area. And I want to say their video did really well. I want to say they got like, I don't remember. I don't know. It might have been 1 million views. I don't know what it was. It was something. It was a massive number. People interested in that stuff. If you would build me a bat house, I would love it. I put it on the back of my garage. Gail says, recently been bombarded with little plant hoppers that suck the juice out of my plant. Ooh. Wait, are you innuendoing something? See it his way. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to hit your thumbs up on the way out. Come on up here. Come on. So stop barking at things. Plans for this weekend on the farm, obviously the potatoes. I have 2 videos that I'm going to film. They're recipe videos, but I'm going to make the food, and I like the food, so I figured I might as well film it. I'm making my version of sweet potato fries, which is my favorite way to eat sweet potatoes, and then a Greek meatloaf. So those will come out next week if I can edit videos on this secondary laptop. But right way and a wrong way to deal with pigs. My favorite way is to eat them, but I don't think it's what you meant. I think what else we're planning to do this weekend. I think it's mostly going to involve planting, like what we can of what's left. The biggest hurdle I have is I've got tons of sweet potato slips, and I'm not sure where I'm going to plant them yet. What I understand, they like a sandy soil, and they like heat. Is that right? Naturally in seed. So I know where I'm going to put some melons. I'm just not sure where I'm going to put the sweet potatoes yet. And then I have to, at some point, prep my winter bed because we want to try winter gardening this year. I know where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it up on the side of the house because I don't want to have to go down to the garden in the snow to pick food. So doesn't have to be sandy exactly, but it needs good drainage. Okay. I was thinking maybe one of the tractor tires we have, but I don't know. I have a couple tractor tires around the yard. I really like snow, and I think Donald likes it to a degree. Being from Texas, he didn't get it much, but I really like having 4 seasons. It's one of the reasons I like living where we're at. I think if I was too far south or too far north and didn't really get enough of a garden time, or I didn't get any winter, it would be very foreign to me. Hey Keith, it's been a while. How have you been? Gail says it's 102 today. It's supposed to be down to 70 Saturday. Up and down a lot. Yeah, I think we hit 96 yesterday. Today, I think, I remember when I pulled in the office, it was like 91. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not a heat person. Fermented Homestead, I've missed you too. You know, honestly, I feel like I'm missing out on everybody's channels lately because I've been so busy. Well, one with that toothache, and then 2, I've got these 2 major launches coming up for business, and I'm so behind on everybody's videos. I've been trying to make the lives. I actually was rearing to go on Big Bear's Live last week, and then they got sick. So I will be at Big Bear's Live Saturday at 8 p.m. if you're interested. Mama Z, I missed her live this week, but she's got another one on Saturday where she's making one of Donald's favorite meals, by the way, which is stuffed peppers. I saw the thumbnail for that. Great thumbnail, by the way, Mama Z. So I told Donald, I'm probably going to be on your live. We're supposed to play D&D at that same time, but I think I'm going to have you like in earbuds in my ears so I can watch. Fermented says, I've been so busy, every free moment is making something. Yeah. I wanted to do way more fermenting than I've done, which is none. So that's way more. I still got canning that I'm planning to do with all the stuff we've planted. Shayla from Making Lemonade from Lemons did a really cool canning video on potatoes last week, I want to say. I would like to try that, especially if we're planting 30 pounds of potatoes. I'm going to have some can, right? So Fermented Homestead, what have you been up to? Did you guys get another set of chickens? I know you had lost all your chickens, and I don't know if you determined whether it was a dog. It looked like a dog to me, but I don't know if you had, I don't know if you've put an update out since then. So actually, Nathan from Samson Farms just lost a bunch of chickens too from a dog. So he's pretty pissed. And I feel bad for him, and I keep trying to figure out if there's a way I can send him some meat chickens, but I don't think there is. I think he's down to like 3 left. There you go, Big Bear. What do you do for dogs? Honestly, because we've had at least 2 farms that I know of that got hit by dogs. Breton Farm Home said, hello. Jumping late again. These animals, internal clock going off, and they were protesting about their supper. Oh, wait a minute. Do you mean animals? Or like kids' animals? Because I could see it going either way. Fermented Hempstead says, I now have a stupid number of chickens and building garden beds and chicken runs lately. That's awesome. Have you put out a video about it recently? Because I might actually after the Broussards live tonight, because tonight's our Friday. We're off tomorrow. We can stay up a little later. I don't want to stay up too late, but I want to catch up on people's videos. So that might be my thing tonight. No animals. Oh, okay. Yeah, Court, we just kind of leave him out free choice dog food. But my dad makes him like, my dad will cook him his own set of eggs in the morning, or like his own pancake, or his own little Spam in the morning, his own little scrapple. Dad says that we spoil Court, but let's be honest. Come here, Court. Come here. Come here. Say hi. Come here. Hey. Folks want to see you. Oh, you just want to lay down. Okay, never mind. You can kind of see an ear. There he is. There's my puppy. I'm glad you got more chickens. I don't think there's any more beds that we have to build. I knew that Donald, the place, we have like half, our garden's like 80 foot long and then like 40 foot wide. And I want to say one half of it that was Dad's. We decided we were not going to put a 𝙎𝙬𝙀𝙊𝙍 bed there this year. We get a lot of water that sits there. So we've covered a lot of it with mulch. And we went ahead, I want to say 2 or 3 days ago, we planted a whole bunch of ryegrass and clover on it. Because what we want to do is build the soil over there because it's just a clay pool bottom at this point. That's all it is. It's clay and then it just fills up with water. So we put a bunch of wood chips. We'll probably put some compost or something over there. But we're just going to let it grow and let some ryegrass do its job. We might put goats over there at some point and let them eat it. Little Feet Farm, how are you? How's your cow? I forget what you named your cow, but I think you were live yesterday or the day before. I missed it. I apologize. Or you're in my way, bruh. Is Big Bear still here? I was going to ask him about the dogs some more. He might have left. He might have left because I know Broussard's starts at 9. They're alive, so I might ask him over there. Flossie, that's right. I love that name. It's very, like, old Western 19th century style, which I really like that. Court, could you not lick yourself on me? That's kind of gross. Weirdo. Hey. Hey. It's rude. I don't lick myself on you. Don't forget to hit your thumbs up. It's a small one tonight, but again, I did not advertise it at all, and honestly, I didn't really have much to talk about. I was going to do a Zoom session, but I wasn't sure this laptop could handle it and let other people come up, so maybe next week, we'll see. Now, for people that do the garden tour videos, we are thinking about doing one once a month. Do you think that's not enough? Like, should you do it twice a month? Do some people do it weekly? I think Jess from Roots and Refuge does it weekly, but I don't know. I feel like there wouldn't be that much of a difference on ours to do it weekly. So I was thinking about doing it monthly or maybe once every other week. Maybe next week I'll do a giveaway. Maybe that'll get more people in here. Yeah, I think weekly would be too much. I don't mind like we do maybe a vlog weekly. I haven't been able to do one this week because I was down my laptop. I just got this one back. This is my secondary. Yes, today. I got it back today. So, Arkansas Woodcutter, how are you? I'm always excited when you pop in. Little Feet says, personally, she thinks once a month is good. The weeklies are redundant. That's what I was thinking. There's really not that much growth that happens in a week, but in a month, like, I'm excited to show you guys the potatoes. I don't know if you saw the potato video that we put out, but since then, it's just like, whew, massive. Yeah, that sounds good. Every 3 or 4 weeks. Or every other week, yeah. We'll probably do every other week to 3 weeks, maybe. I don't know why people would be interested in what I'm planting anyway, but we'll see. Right now I'm trying to figure out what the next round of planting is going to be. I've got okra coming up like crazy, melons are coming up like crazy, beans, peas. Yeah, the potato towers are pretty swank. Tell you what, though, it's a lot of work. We're not done. We're about half done. Which is why I think next year, once these are ready to harvest, we're just going to let them fall over and let that stuff sit and rot and plant in that next year with the Ruth Stout hay over top and see, we'll compare. We'll do another 30 pounds and we'll compare and see which gets the more yield. And then if we feel like the towers do better, we'll do them like every other year. I think that'd be easiest. All right, thanks Keith for stopping by. But I really like the potato towers because, like I was telling Mama Z, she lives in an apartment, but her apartment complex lets her plant things outside. So she has like some container gardens. She's planting her own tomatoes and peppers, and this is an apartment. Not that every apartment's going to be nice like that. However, I could see her doing a potato tower. Not that I think she is going to, but you know, I could see that being a possibility. If you do it near like the landscaping that the apartment complex has, maybe, and then once it falls over, you just kind of mix that in. I don't know. Just thinking of ideas. And that's actually one of the things. So we're building up. We're finally, after I don't know how many years, building a permanent fence around the garden. Because right now, what we do is we take 8-foot T-posts and we put them in the ground every, I don't know, 15 to 20 feet. And then we'll take deer netting that's like 8 foot high and 100 feet long. And it takes about 2 or 3, hi puppy, yes, I know. It takes about 2 or 3 rolls of that to wrap around our entire garden. Because again, it's like an 80-foot long garden and it's like 40-foot wide, maybe a little less than maybe 30-foot wide. Once we expanded to Dad's side, it'd be even, maybe it's about 30 foot, I guess. But it's a pain in the butt to wrap and unwrap that every year. Then you've got weeds that come up from the bottom. One of the things we're trying to do this year is we're putting cardboard along the bottom of the netting, and we're going to put wood chips on top of that to help prevent the weeds from growing up. Then they get tangled in your netting, and then you break your netting, and then you have to go buy new netting. And then we tie them to the T-posts with zip ties. But we have to take it down every year and put it up every year. So we're putting permanent fencing, putting actual posts in the ground. I think Donald's going to try the innards of the fencing with welded wire. So that's a big project that we've got going on. But I think that will allow us to have a little bit more idea of some vertical gardening that we can do. Like I could put a pallet and lean it up against the fence and fill the pallet up with dirt and let things like strawberries or something just grow out of the pallet. So that's a goal. I'm thinking about hanging some tires. I think Jess from Roots and Refuge does this, where she hangs tires, puts some dirt in the bottom of the tire, and then lets flowers or pollinator type stuff grow out of those. So I'm trying to think of different vertical ways to garden. I love the cattle panels for trellis gardening. You know, cheap and easy, and you can always use a cattle panel. There's nothing that you couldn't really have a use for a cattle panel for in a homestead, I think. So I'm fine with having extras of those. What am I missing? Now Chauncey said to Mama Z, or that Mama Z needs a tater tower and apartment quail. Yes. That would be awesome. I just hear it, like your neighbors now, they're like listening in the middle of the night and they hear this like this quail noise, and what is that? Are you looking at me lovingly? You're so sweet. I wish you were up so people could see your cute face. John Coffee? What am I missing about a John Coffee? I'm trying to think what else would be good vertically. Another thing we've thought about doing is we have this nice size deck on the back of the house with, you know, like flat surface for the railing or whatever. And Donald was thinking about putting a gutter system all along the outside of the deck and planting herbs in that, because then I can just walk out of the kitchen onto the deck. So you see the snout right here? That snout. If I can get some gutters, maybe that would be a good thing to put around the back there. Oh, you're John. Oh, I'm John. I didn't know your name, but I'm glad I know it now. You're so sweet, dog. The gutters, yeah. I think it'd be interesting because then I could just have like all my kitchen herbs that I cook with. Rosemary's. I did plant some lavender, 4 lavender plants. See what, I have a hard time growing lavender. It's so slow. I don't have the patience for it. Someone's just gonna buy transplants. But I planted them. We have a little frame around where I put our clothesline because we decided not worrying about the dryer anymore. Hi, puppy. So I planted lavender there because I'm hoping that once it gets big enough that it's touching my clothes, maybe it'll make my clothes smell good. I mean, it's, in theory, in my head it works, but I don't know whether it will. Why does everyone try to call me when I'm on your lives? See you, Arkansas. Thank you for stopping by. Just remember Green Mile for John Clark. I remember seeing the Green Mile once in like high school, but it's been a long time. I probably should watch it again. I think it would make me sad with the current state of affairs, to be honest. I watched, what did I watch? Well, I don't know if I want to talk about it on my live. There's something I watched recently that made me really sad. So I'm trying to avoid sadness at the moment. Plant it with lemongrass, and I might also keep the ants away. Ooh. Lemongrass and my clothes would smell amazing. I used to burn lemongrass as an incense when I was hanging out with 𝙒𝙃𝙄𝙇𝙀 tribe that hangs out down in West Virginia. They do sweat lodges down there. And oh, it smells so good. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Although I will say, on Netflix, I watched the Jeffrey Epstein documentary. If you want to hate everything about the world, watch it. I like watching that stuff simply because I want to be aware. Like when Waco happened, I was only 13. So I knew Waco was a word that was important then. And it was a word that people were talking about a lot, but I knew nothing about Waco until last month when I watched the documentary. And I was like, what? So I like watching that stuff to be aware. But I heard there's one about Ruby Ridge. I might watch that. I've never seen it. I didn't know about Ruby Ridge until I watched Waco. So I'm just ignorant to things, I guess, that I shouldn't be. Oh, there he goes. No, run, bark. But enough talk about sad things. Good chat, good talk, but I gotta go take care. Thanks, Untitled Explorer, for stopping by. I appreciate it. We've only got about 15 minutes anyway, so. Does anybody have any plants that they're struggling with right now or any issues with the garden? I know one of our biggest issues is going to be watering at some point. We do have some rain barrels. I want to say we have 2 or 3. I want to get like at least 6 more. I know that some places have a rain tax where if you collect rainwater, I think Maryland does. I don't think Pennsylvania does yet. They actually fine you or you have to pay a tax. And I'm like, yeah. So keeping them from falling over, right? One of the things we need to do is figure out the water conservation because our house only has a 17-foot well. That's it. Last year we did use it to water the garden some, and it started spitting. Like we were getting low. We have a stream out back though, and we have a submersible pump, so we use that a lot. But the issue with the submersible pump is the grit that gets in the hose, and it makes it harder to get any pressure. So I'm trying to decide, and I don't know if anybody here has ever had to do that, get a pump that hooks up to the rain barrel to pump it out faster. Now, we do have the rain barrels up on a stand for a little bit of gravity feed, but I would like to have a pump because I think it would be easier for as big as our garden is. Actually, and see, I've had too much rain, hence the reason I have to replant so much. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you and Shayla got hit pretty hard with the rain. J Love says, my purple potted beans didn't come up. Only 1 pea plant came up. Too wet, maybe? Could be. One of the things we did around our beans and peas this year is a lot of wood chips. 1, to conserve the water, and 2, to make it so that the water doesn't sit so much. Like, I say that for ours because we have so much clay. If we have the wood chips there, it soaks up a lot of the excess or prevents it from sitting as much. So that's helped us, but I mean, we might have a different environment. Are you city water as well? No, we are a well. Just the well. Well and septic. Men Hempstead, this year we filled our rain catchment with the well water. Yeah, I saw your video on the rain catchment, so I'm kind of excited about seeing that. I do want a better rain catchment system. I mean, I could put a bunch more on some of these gutters and things. I might get one of those big square ones with the metal sheath or whatever that's around it. But our biggest issue in the garden has been too much water in the past. The wood chips, I'll tell you, the wood chips, they help a lot. Like, we don't get nearly, if any, of the drowning issue that we used to have. And because it helps prevent the water that does seep into the ground from, and a lot of this is in raised beds as well, but from evaporating. So we don't have to water as much, which conserves water as well. Brenton Farm, we have to dig a well at some point, but we are setting up rain catching system for now. Yeah. Percolating a well is not cheap or easy, I assume. I've never done it. I know it's expensive because I always worry about that here. And what's weird, whoever built this house, the well is literally at the corner of the house. Like, usually they have to be a certain amount of feet away. No. You drop down the wall, the well's right there. So it's not like I can move the house. Now, what I would like to get, Layman's has one of those, like not cistern, what am I thinking? You know, the pumps. I'd like to get one of those on top of the well for some non-electric water access at some point. And I know another one of my projects this year was the composting toilet outside, but this garden's taking so long. It's like never ending. I love it. I do love planting, though. I do love planting. I don't like the heat, though. The heat already has some of my plants, even some of my new tomatoes are starting to, like, not appreciate the heat. So I kind of, have you ever driven down a road and you're out and there's just like big, beautiful fields, the sun's shining, it's really hot. But then you drive down into like a gully that's surrounded by trees. And immediately you can tell it's like 10 degrees cooler. I love that feeling. It's one of my favorite feelings. But I'm thinking because our land is so exposed, if I plant some more trees, granted I still need the sunshine, but I feel like it would help cool things off a little bit for some of my plants. I just have to figure that out. We do have some peaches coming in. I'm excited about. No apples or pears yet, but this is their, let's see, last year was the first year, so this is their second year, I think. So I don't know when it takes apples. What, 4 years? I want to say. But the apples and pear trees are doing well. The peach trees are doing well. We did get peaches last year, so I'm expecting more peaches this year. I'm not seeing anything on the plums yet. I think last year our pecans, just one of our trees just started to drop nuts. So this year I'm kind of excited. 3 to 4 years? Okay. So maybe next year I'll get some apples and pears. We also planted a hazelnut, but I think the meat chickens might have beaten it up a little too much. I don't think it's going to make it, which we got it at TSC. I'll just get another one. And then the grapes are doing phenomenal. I'll tell you what, I understand why we have so many wineries around here, because the apples and the grapes in this area grow like crazy. I have had no problems with my apples. And actually, Adams County, I don't know how familiar you guys are with this area. When we have like the Knott's or the Nor's apple juice plant here, it's like we're one of the top apple places in the country. So I'm very happy with how the grapes and our apple trees are doing. Come on. Maybe I'll just make a lot of wine. Has anybody ever made wine? Because we get Concord grapes up the wazoo, and we just planted some muscadine and Niagara. And I want to make dandelion wine too, but I've never made wine. So I think that's on the list. Maybe some of that dandelion jelly too. I want to say A Farmer's Life did the dandelion jelly recipe video. So I want to try that. I have no idea what to expect it to taste like. It's worth trying it out though. We still got 8 minutes. I do want to give a shout out while I'm in here. Yeah, I actually have some wine in the fridge I might break out. And it's a local one. It's called Rebel Red, and it's by Adams County Winery. It's one of my favorite wines. I'm a big mead person too, though. We didn't get bees this year. It was on our bucket list, and I guess we still technically could, but we'll see. I don't know that it's going to be in the cards this year. Things have been a little too hectic, and the bee person we were going to buy from and take the class from, the last class was like March 22nd. So we were preparing to go to that, and then everything shut down like March 12th. So Rebel Red is good, yeah. Hey, Susan, how are you? Simply Southern Roots. I love that name. This might actually be a live where I don't play music, which is kind of funny. Yeah, mead is my go-to. I love mead, but I just don't have the honey to make it. Dee says, we literally just had that same conversation like 5 minutes ago about not being able to do bees this year. Yeah, I really wanted them. If I don't get them this year, I'm going to budget for them for next year. The place that we get our local honey from, one of the places, they go down to Georgia once or twice a year to pick up bees. And I think they do it in April, but I don't know that they could even do that this year. So he has classes in January, February, and March. So I'm just going to plan for it and budget it. It was only like $275 to get the bees and the hive. And I want to say the class, but it may not have included the class. I think the class is $45 a person or something. It's like an 8-hour class. So I definitely want to do that. I'm scared of killing bees, to be honest. I would feel so bad if I did. And I think it was either Big Bear or somebody had caught a hive or a swarm recently. And I think one of my neighbors down there, well, it's not really neighbors, it's on the other side of the town, but they caught a swarm recently. And I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. I know so little about bees, but it's on my list. Was it Jason? Okay. I thought it was. I remember a box in a tree or something. I'm not sure how you catch a hive or a swarm, but maybe if I watched the video, I would know. Yeah, I think bees should be like a staple on all homesteads. I think we all kind of have a duty to do what we can to protect the bee population. No, come here. Come here and lay down. You can go out after I'm done. Hi. 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 Okay. Hi. Yes. Yes. You could. Sometimes. Yes. Apartment bees. There you go. If you won't accept apartment quail, Papa Z, you're gonna get apartment bees. Oh, my puppy. Where's my puppy? Kind of stink. Bees in your bed. Drink sky raisins. Spicy sky raisins. That's what they're called. Sky raisins are flies for dogs. And then spicy sky raisins are bees for dogs. I tell you what, I got plenty of carpenter bees trying to eat my deck, though. I don't know what to do about them. A bit of a pain in the butt. If anybody knows how to deal with carpenter bees, please let me know. Yes. Much love, much love, much love. Ugh. Your breath's not pleasant. The brown, but yeah, we did the brown paper bag. Maybe I didn't do it right, but I hung it up, and it was a bulb to make it look like there's a wasp nest there, but they still ate the crap out of my deck. I know there's stuff you can like stuff in there. I was reading up on something like you could put steel wool in there or something. I don't know. Management might have a problem with apartment bees. Yeah. Dee says, I can see it now. Keith cussing me for all I'm worth. Kendra running for her life, and Misty talking about how they're pollinating her squash. Stacy, my girl. She who is getting married very soon. Very excited. Britton says, my dad had a hive of bees when you're in a plexiglass hive, and they just had a small pipe that went out the barn wall. They were super cool to watch. That does look super cool to watch. I seem to remember, like, you know how in middle school you go to camp? It's like a wilderness camp or whatever. I seem to remember they had like a bee station there that was similar to that. Don't forget to hit your thumbs up. We've got about 1 minute left. I think next week I'm going to try to pick a topic and be more organized with the live, and also do another ebook giveaway. And then I think once a month I'm going to start doing Zoom sessions where it's an actual panel that comes up with people that want to talk during the live. And maybe that'll be like the last live of the month or something. I'll do those. Trying to get me with your tongue. Sing for you. What would you like to hear? Thank you for Meta Hempstead. I'll be over at Broussard's in a bit, but I'll play a song for Stacy. Even though it is the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Hi, Mindful Hempstead. Oh, you want the Cold Mountain song? I can do that. Just for Stacy. And for Mindful Hempstead. That puppy is a mess. So if you've ever seen the movie Cold Mountain, this is a song that was played in that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, honestly. But this song was played by the father who played the fiddle. And it was the scene where the local guard, the militia, the pain in the butt guys, found them, and they were deserters in the war. So it was an unpleasant experience, but because I can remember the words. Try not to lean on court too much. I wish my baby was born and sitting on its papa's knee, and me, poor girl, were dead and gone, and the green grass growing o'er my feet. I ain't ahead, no, never will be, till the sweet apple grows on a sour apple tree. But still I hope the time will come when you and I shall be as one. Thank you. I like a lot of the old bluegrass. Oh, shoot, what's the next line? I wish my love had died and sent his soul to wander free. And then we might meet where ravens fly. Let our poor bodies rest in peace. The owl is a lonely bird. It chills my heart with dread and terror. And there's someone's blood there on his wing. Someone's blood there on his feather. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me Thursday night. We do lives every Thursday night at 8:30. Feel free to give us a like, subscribe, and hang out with us each week. Sometimes I give away books. Sometimes I bring people up and we do like a panel. Sometimes they're not significant at all like this one, but we just have fun and hang out. So I'm going to head over to the Broussards live because we do what's called a Copper Kettle raid, where we go over there and we're like, hey, Copper Kettle's here. So we're going to head over there, and I will see you guys next week. And hello, Wide Family Farm. Sorry I'm ending things, but it's good to see you. And I think I'm supposed to send you something, but I forget what it was. I might have to look at last week's live. I think you might have told me something there that you and I were supposed to talk about. So I might check it out. But it's good seeing you briefly. You guys take care. I'll see you over there. Peace out. Be strong. Be safe. Be awesome. Button. The right button. Court right. I hit the right button. End stream. There we go.